people love to perpetrate a fraud, perpetrate a lie. Now, as you guys know, recently, within the last 10 years, they have been putting out a lot of AF artificial facts and trying to rewrite our history. And then you have some people that will align themselves with, our open enemy or pander to a certain group of people and then basically tell blatant lies to sit up and pander to people. And I think black people's biggest problem is we want everybody to like us and accept us. And I feel we've been at the point we don't need for everybody to accept us. And we don't have to watch what we say and how we say something to people when people are blatantly out here disrespecting us as a whole and not caring how they say stuff and direct stuff towards us, where it's insinuations or just flat out lies. So, maybe about a week ago, KRS-One, I don't know, he had some kind of, I don't know whether it's some kind of meeting or something, or basically a lecture, and he just sat up there and blatantly told lies. And Lord Jamar, for some reason I always used to call him Lord Jamal, but it's Lord Jamar from one of my favorite groups growing up, Brand Nubian, because KRS-One, he looking real suspicious to me, because he another one all of a sudden that's been singing the high praises of Marshall Bruce Matters. And all these years he presented himself as an intellectual, a scholar, militant. But now I see he was perpetrating a fraud because he just basically sat up there at this lecture and presented a whole bunch of lies about, hip hop or origins coming from the Caribbean, which is a lie, a falsehood, and Latinos. I'm gonna say this again: you Latinos didn't help create shit. All y'all did is bring y'all asses there and watch. And I know for a fact that it's always been tension between the blacks and the Hispanics, and people need to stop lying. Just like in California, you pretty much have a full-blown, war, especially in Southern California, between blacks and Hispanics, and particularly Mexicans and El Salvadorians. I'm gonna say this again: there ain't no damn black and brown alliance. It's complete. It's a complete lie and a complete falsehood. But nevertheless, Lord Jamar basically corrected KRS-One, or basically he just called him out for lying. That dude was telling lies bigger than his nose. And I don't know where this thing came from, where all of a sudden people want to try to take stuff from black people, trying to make it look like we didn't contribute nothing to society when we contribute mostly everything you would call society. We are the reason why America is America. This country was built off our blood, sweat, and tears, our hard work. And for the most part, we didn't get nothing for it or nothing in return. All of a sudden, you got all these rappers that got this so-called Caribbean background. The Busta Rhymes, the Pete Rocks, a few other people. I remember some dude came on my channel trying to talk about all these rappers that got a Caribbean background. It's funny, Busta Rhymes say hip-hop came from Jamaica, but I sure know being a Busta Rhyme fan, he didn't really use any Jamaican oriented samples. Most of the samples he used came from American artists, American black artists. The same as Pete Rock. If you look at Pete Rock's history, Most of his beats, Pete Rock did a lot of sampling, and most of his records came from either old jazz records or old R&B soulful records. So where's the so-called Jamaican influence? You know, so I'm exposing these dudes with ease. If hip hop is so Caribbean and Jamaican toast oriented, well, where was the samples at? For real. Where was the grassroots? I'm just saying. Even though people try to use Cool Herc and Grandmaster Flash and all those guys saying they had Caribbean ties, most of them wasn't even in touch with their Caribbean ties. Even though even though there's a discussion about looping and sampling and all that kind of stuff, well, the sampling came from American black artists. So once again, how is that a Caribbean creation when you're using American black artists? You're not making any kind of sense. I mean, this is just easy to debunk. So, somebody comes sending me KRS-One talking that baloney, and I just laughed at it. Like, a lot of these people are in denial. Just real talk. If you go back to the early 70s, the origins of Dolomite was from like Arkansas. And Dolomite inspired a lot of played a pivotal role in inspiring rhyming and hip hop. So all this stuff about it came from the Caribbean is complete baloney. And we know damn well, and as far as the Puerto Ricans go, trying to attach themselves, just sit y'all asses down. Okay. And I know Dr. Derek Cologne then resurfaced again based off what KRS-One. Hey dude, give it up, dude. Cause I'm gonna cook him too. I'm gonna cook him again. I'm gonna cook him again. And that's just real talk. But shout out to Lord Jamar. We have to be gatekeepers. We got to stop letting people just think they can come in and just say, "Oh, well, we played a role," and no, the fuck you didn't. And it need to be said like that. No, I'm not being nice about this. I'm gonna say this again, and no disrespect to the Jamaicans. No disrespect, but at the same time, you didn't create hip hop. You didn't. And as far as the Puerto Ricans go, stop it. Stop it. All y'all did was come near and watch. Okay? That's just real talk. You didn't help invent shit. Okay? What hip hop records had what hip hop records from the 70s had uh a Puerto Rican Latin inspired feel to it? I'll wait. Oh, time's up. None. Okay? Just because you come from somewhere else or your family come from somewhere else, wherever you at that time are living, that's primarily your culture. If you are influenced by a culture that's from where you're living at, where your residency is, that's your culture. You could be from Jamaica or your family could be from Jamaica, but if you're inspired by a creation by Black Americans, then that's Black American culture. So that's why that kind of bothered me when I heard that burnt bacon looking ass nigga Kai Kanat talking about Black Americans don't have no culture. It's because of us who did the heavy lifting, who basically broke ground on trying to, basically build this country in which we never got our just dues. So stop the cap. Stop the cap. Just stop the cap. All these so-called rappers with Caribbean backgrounds, if they were so inspired by their music and their inspired by that music and their lineage, well, how come they wasn't using the records then? How come they were using black American artists? That don't make no kind of sense. That don't even make no kind of sense. If you sit up saying the hip hop came from Jamaica, but you don't use no Jamaican inspired or reggae inspired records, so that doesn't make it. You're not making any kind of sense. So that just shows me that you are fucking lying, and that's just basically it. This is easy to debunk. I would have destroyed KRS-One in less than 2 minutes. So I'm just saying. So for people to sit up there and say it came from that it was 50-50 KRS-One, you are a damn lie. You are a big, I mean, you are a big ham and cheese nose lie. Nigga, stop. But that's what's wrong with black people anyway. Always trying to pander to people and try to give people this other people this unwarranted credit. Just want to sit up there just out of out of the just on the fly. Just well, if it was no, it was us. Black Americans created hip hop. Black Americans. FBA. You know what I'm saying? For real. You can't sit up there and say that it came from somewhere. It came from somewhere. But you can't say it came from Jamaica, but you record but the first recordings and studio session was in the States. That's real talk. This was like easy to debunk. I mean, I don't know where these dudes be coming from with this stuff. It's just like I told you, this is because of the internet. People just wake up in the morning and just start lying about stuff. And ever since Busta Rhymes started disrespecting foundational black Americans who was actually your biggest supporters, who were buying your records. No Jamaicans wasn't buying your records. Black Americans was supporting you. And then when he noticed a slump in his tour tickets, he been quiet lately. And then, fake ass Fat Joe, who ain't black, he was blocking everybody once microphone check came out. So I love the fact that Lord Jamar stood up and said, nah, dude, not today. Not today. No, not today. You're not going to give other people credit for what we did. No, it's just that Lord Jamar had to educate. Well, actually, he just basically had to expose KRS-One for lying about the origins of hip hop. The origins of hip hop, the origins of hip hop came from foundational Black Americans. It was inspired by funk records, jazz. You know what I'm saying? A little bit of rock and roll created by Black artists. So I just laugh when I hear dudes like Pete Rock basically exposing themselves. So, like I said, if you so influenced, if you so Caribbean, well, like I said before, how come some of your greatest beats were made sampling Black American music, but you supposed to have Caribbean ties, dude? Pete Rock, sit your ass down. Sit your ass down. Have a seat. I mean, this was easy. So yeah, I just had to come on here and just like get that off of my chest because I'm just tired of this line. I'm tired of everybody thinking that black culture, black history is community property. And I get tired of people thinking if they don't like certain aspects about black culture, they can just try to alter it and change it. We the only ones that want to sit up here and, say that our culture is for everybody. We let outsiders sit up here and come and say, oh, well, this happened. No, no, it's what it's always been. And we're not going to let these outsiders come in here and try to rewrite our culture and tell us what happened, what didn't happen, what should have happened. No, we fighting for this. We not letting people cling on and give themselves unwarranted credit for something that they didn't do. Once again, you Puerto Ricans didn't help create nothing. If you consider plugging in the speakers, and you know what I'm saying, holding the crates with the records in it. Well, so be it. So be it. hey, the Puerto Ricans think they helped create hip hop because basically they plugged in the speakers. They helped plug in the speakers and stuff, and they was there. They was there watching. So that means they contribute. Like, man, if y'all don't get y'all fake asses out of here with them damn man, get y'all asses out of here for real. I'm just saying, I'm just not allowing this no more. I'm just not allowing this no more. I'm not gonna just let people just wake up in the morning and try to discredit us, especially these outsiders and stuff. Like, man, like, stop it. But but KRS-One been moving funny anyway for the past years. Giving Eminem high praise and stuff. Like I said, I just know to the fact that Eminem, I think, just be paying people to say this stuff, or Dr. Dre be asking people to just give Eminem high praise. Because the more I really listen to Eminem and really like break down his records, just like really critique him, Eminem is overrated as hell. He overrated as hell. He really, when I say his music did not age well, like I said before, it's funny these Eminem apologists sit up there and say that he's an all-time great, or he's this, he's that. But most people can't even name, like, off the top of their head, most people can't even name 10 Eminem songs. Can't even name 10 Eminem songs that were hits, that were classics. That's real talk. I can name like 30 Snoop Dogg songs that were hits, classics. Same thing with Ice Cube. You don't even have to bring up the solo stuff Ice Cube did. All you need to do is bring up Straight Outta Compton. Or him writing one of the greatest songs in the history of music, which is Boys in the Hood, ultimate West Coast California anthem. There you have it. Man, that Houdini song that came in when ain't nobody thinking about, like I said, ain't nobody thinking about Kendrick Lamar. People anticipating his new album. Ain't nobody thinking about Eminem. Eminem is an afterthought now. He an afterthought now. And I don't, here's the thing, I don't even talk hip hop with non-blacks, especially when it pertains to Eminem. I'm doing them like how they do us. You're not qualified. You don't meet the criteria. You're not qualified to talk rap music with me, especially in regards to a overrated white rapper, and you not black. Ain't no white motherfucker or no non-black motherfucker gonna try to sit up here and try to argue with me about the relevance of an overrated white rapper. and his place in hip hop. Because at the end of the day, this is our art form. We created it. We are the gatekeepers. And we have to say so. And I'm sorry. But KRS-One, he been moving funny for a while now. But for him to pull this stuff, I was just like, dude, come on, man. Exactly. Exactly. What does Eminem really contribute to hip hop except being white? Like, what impact did he really have? I'm just saying. Oh, and I'm just gonna keep it a book. If it wasn't for Eminem's affiliation with Dr. Dre, he wouldn't even have lasted this long. And you can't tell me that I'm hating because I bought Eminem's albums and I listened to. Eminem would say something clever all but every once in a while. But then, like I said, he would just make songs where he would talk about absolutely nothing. And you would just be like, what is this dude talking about? And it wouldn't be clever. Eminem would drop dead bars a lot on his albums and a lot on his records. A lot of times he would be known for doing that. If you don't know what dead bars means, basically he just writes some bars that's not really catchy, but just to carry on the song and carry on the verse and help complete. I'm telling you, he was known for writing dead bars. Because that song Rain Man, he wasn't saying absolutely nothing. And then the song he made about maybe 5 years ago with Big Sean, No Favors, that verse was terrible. I'm gonna be honest with you, Tania. In the Bay Area, we really was done with Eminem after his second album. After he dropped the Marshall Matters LP, that was kind of like it for him. Like, people really didn't bump Eminem like in the Bay Area. Like I said, Eminem was the type of person you would play when you was by yourself. Like I said, nobody played Eminem at no barbecues. Nobody rolled down the Foothill Strip on Saturday night playing Eminem. Nobody played Eminem at the club. I never took a woman out and she asked me to play Eminem. I've never been riding with the homies if we going on a mission or we just going to hit a club or something and somebody say play some Eminem. So Gucci was just telling the truth. But, just got to be said. Yeah. I think after M-Core, I think he like reached his peak. He did make an album, I think, in 2009. That was okay. But yeah, M-Core, that was kind of like when I felt like he reached his peak. That was like, because the stuff he put out afterwards was mediocre as hell. And people just don't want to tell the truth. So no, I'm just telling the truth. I done went everywhere. I done went to a lot of different places. I done went to a lot of different clubs. I can tell you, you go to a club in Vegas, they're not gonna play any Eminem. So, that just goes to show you, getting back to where KRS-One is, what type of time he on. He being disingenuous. So I don't know why he sat up there and had that lecture where he was just sitting up there telling blatant lies. Ooh, saying that it was a mixture of American blacks, um, Caribbean blacks, and then Puerto Ricans or Latinos. He was just lying. And then he tried to say, you sound stupid. Well, no, KRS-One, you just sound like a fucking liar because you were lying. and you were flat out lying. And I'm glad that, and it wasn't just Lord Jamar that called him out. Quite a few people called him out on his line. Man, if you play, man, listen, listen, Kenwood, I'll tell you, I'll tell you a story. Okay, there's this spot, in Oakland. It's in deep East Oakland. It's it was called it's called the Sports Page. So that's like a little, it's like a little hole in the wall that everybody go to and stuff. So it's hood. It's in the hood. It's off of MacArthur Boulevard, and maybe it's off of MacArthur Boulevard. It's in deep East Oakland. I remember the DJ. His name was Super K, right? Man, everybody was on the dance floor. They was dancing. They was like, doing their thing. And I think he was playing Pistol Grip Pump, because Pistol Grip Pump was like a good dance song. Man, that dude threw on Eminem. I'm talking about that whole dance floor just cleared out. If I would have had that on video, that was just hella funny. But this is before YouTube and all. I'm talking about that whole dance floor like cleared when dude threw on Eminem. I was like, so, so, so I just that was all I needed to know right there to there about how people feel about Eminem. If you cannot play your stuff like all across the board, if you're not universally accepted and your stuff is not played, like I said, Kendrick Lamar, that song, Not Like Us, when I say that's everywhere, everybody is using that song. I'm talking about it's in the streets, it's in the hood, it's in the, you know what I'm saying? It's in the suburbs, it's everywhere. Eminem didn't have that type of impact. So for you to sit up there and try to say he's an all-time great, when you don't play his songs at the club, you don't play his songs at barbecues, you don't play his songs, you know what I'm saying, at functions, that's a lie. And like I said, I don't know why his remedial fans get mad when you say, hey, he's not a GOAT. He's not a GOAT to me. I don't even have Eminem in my top 20 greatest rappers of all time. And I'll say it right to his face, in front of 50 Cent, in front of Dr. Dre, in front of KRS-One, in front of everybody. And won't give a damn who get mad. So there you go. I'm gonna be honest with you. The greatest non-black Latino hip hop group to me, without a shadow of a doubt, I don't even think this is even up for debate, is Cypress Hill. Even though Sin Dog was Sin Dog is black though. So I'm just saying. But yeah, I don't even think it's up for debate. Cypress Hill. I think Cypress Hill is like, because they first album, the self-titled album, Cypress Hill, that's a classic. When I say you could play that whole album, that first Cypress Hill album with How Could I Just Kill a Man, you can play that whole album without pushing the fast forward button. I used to play that whole album. I never would fast forward. That I'm talking about that first Cypress Hill album, that's a classic. That's like in my top. That's like in my top 20 greatest hip hop albums ever made. Real talk. Well, I don't know what Be Real was. Be Real, I think Be Real was mixed with everything because I know he was like he had Cuban in him, he had Mexican in him, so he had a little bit of everything, but I wouldn't exactly call him black. Now Sen Dog was black. Now Muggs, he was just a white boy, but he was a damn good producer though. Damn good producer. So, well, Eminem did some little shiesty stuff with the D12 album. Um, and even some of the members said it themselves. Like Eminem, he was like the executive producer of the D12 album. From what I heard, Eminem was like taking off people's verses off certain songs if he thought their verses was better than his. So so Eminem was funny style like that. Even though Eminem really ain't from Detroit, but he really from Kansas though, quiet as kept. But you know, yeah, I remember. Yeah, I remember all that. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Cypress Hill. At least the difference between them and Eminem, they songs stood the test of time though. Eminem, no. That's why I'm saying you can't be a goat if your songs don't age very well. People are still playing to this day. Doggy Style. Doggy Style, Doggy Style crossed over and maintained its what I'm saying, its impact through generations. Doggy Style came out like 30 years ago, but people still talk about that album. So that's how you know, that's how somebody made their mark in hip hop. And that's what I'm saying about Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg's catalog is like, I mean, for real, his catalog, along with E40's, is, I mean, what can you say? So, but I wanted to put this out there, and I needed to say this about KRS fraud, not KRS-One, KRS fraud, and he being a complete fraud. And he tried and did what you got to say some, and then some of the dialogue he was using to try to make it look like he was right, and that basically he stand on what he was saying to say that they did, to say that you stupid if you disagree with him. Nah, I don't buy that all the time. I think he was trying to convince himself and trying to convince them people by saying, well, it's stupid to say, nigga, you was lying. You was lying, dude. You was lying, Blast Master. You was lying, dude. Well, that's what I'm saying. Snoop Dogg's catalog and his records stood the test of time. Ice Cube's records stood the test of time. Like I said before, you can't, man, the so-called biggest Eminem fan couldn't, like, off the top of their head name 20 songs. The only, I guarantee you, if you say name one Eminem song, you lose yourself. See, you ain't gonna get by just bringing up just lose yourself. No, I want you to name songs that Eminem put out that wasn't even singles. Snoop Dogg never even released Ain't No Fun as a single. And it's a classic record. He never put out a video that Ain't No Fun, but it's one of his biggest records. One of his most recognizable, lyrically sing-along songs ever. And he never released that as a single. I guarantee you nobody can't pull out 20 Eminem songs out their ass. Let alone try to say, I mean, come on, man. Just stop it with the cap. Nobody don't. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's the point that I'm trying to make. I don't wake up in the morning talking about I want to hear some Eminem. Like, man, stop it. I will play License to Ill before I play, man. I will play License to Ill. I will play Third Base. I will play House of Pain, which, by the way, I trained the House of Pains on point because that beat is bananas. I don't wake up talking about, oh man, I can't wait to slap some Eminem. I don't even know what a KRS-One. Yeah, the Cactus album. I don't even know what KRS-One was getting out of sitting up there just telling some bold-faced lies. Like I keep saying, for all you so-called rappers and producers with Jamaican and Caribbean background, well, like I said, how come y'all wasn't using Jamaican oriented records to make beats? If you so proud of your Caribbean roots, I'll wait. Time's up because you're lying and you're full of it. Well, that's what I'm saying about House of Pain compared to Eminem. Jump Around was made like 32 years ago. Jump Around is still a classic song. I serve your ass like John McEnroe, and if your girl steps up, I'm smacking the hoe. Word to your mom, I came to drop, but man, please. That's what I'm saying. So pack it up, pack it in, let me begin. I came to win, battle me, that's a sin. I won't tell you stop, punk, you better back up. Try to roll another whole crew, relax up, get up, stand up, but please. Well, first of all, Brand Nubian made good records. I mean, Slow Down, Wake Up. Brand Nubian was really conscious. You know, they wasn't for everybody because they was kind of, they was like 5% of it. Brand Nubian made good records. Slow Down, Wake Up. One of my favorite tunes of all time, Punks Jump Up to Get Beat Down. Or You Gotta Love Me or Leave Me Alone. Yo, Jamal, I got a girl that's bad. Why's that? Because she don't understand my ways, arguing days after days after days. Well, I could dig it because I didn't have some Stop. 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 I'm just so, I mean, KRS-One made good music, but just for him sitting up there telling a bold-faced lie, man, if I was there, I would have got up and I would have bodied him. you know, not figuratively, just, you know, I would just had to educate him on some things. But I don't know who paid him or whatever he got out of, you know, I don't know what he got out of sitting up there lying, but he made a fool of himself. And he didn't have not one, but he had several people challenge him on that. So I'm just glad that somebody, a fellow New Yorker, got at him and basically had to basically debunk his blatant untruths. I don't, Miss D, I don't know what KRS-One is, but he might be. He might be. But he was just sitting up there lying when he had that lecture or whatever it was, a town hall, basically trying to say that blacks, Puerto Ricans, and in Jamaica, in Caribbean blacks created hip hop all together. That's a lie. That's a lie. That's a damn lie. Okay, so that would, and the funny thing is, KRS-One, um, KRS-One, when he first came out, he used to sample a lot of rock and roll records. I remember Dope Beat. What's that called? I got a Dope Beat. He sampled that from AC/DC, and it was called Back in Black. But he's inaccurate about the origins of hip hop. Now every once in a while he would use he would do some Jamaican toe things on his record, but as far as him saying that hip hop came from Jamaica, why did he say it? That's my thing. If these niggas go stand by this this movement and this charade, because that's what it is, that hip hop came from the Caribbean. Well, why wasn't you niggas saying it then? Why you niggas wait 50 years or 40 plus years now? Like, that's why I know, like, dude, stop it, man. Nigga, stop. I'm just saying, none of these dudes was barking was, I mean, for real. None of these dudes was making those statements and and determinations about where rap came from. This is just something that just started. But what happens is, a lot of this is probably media oriented. Because see, what's gonna happen is, you already know somehow, since this is a growing and brewing beef, you already know that mainstream media is gonna try one way or another to insert their self into this, and they're gonna start trying to instigate, like what they was doing with the whole East West Coast thing. But the best thing to do is uh not to partake in it. They come asking to do an interview, I wouldn't even sit up there and do an interview with them, because at the end of the day, we don't have to answer. We don't have to prove nothing to them. We know our place in history, and we know where hip hop started and where the origins of hip hop came from. What it's coming down to, a lot of people are trying to basically dismiss um, the contributors and the real inspirations for hip hop getting to where it is and developing to where it is now by, paying homage to our forefathers who helped put how put drum beats together, like James Brown, Barry White, Isaac Hayes, Johnny Guitar Watson. Those were the artists that were using back then deep bass lines. Because, you know, in the 60s, the bass lines were a little light, but like, that's why James Brown was talking about putting everything on the one and putting everything on the two and saying everything is a drum. Because if you listen to Johnny Guitar Watson songs, if you listen to a real motherfucker, you, I'm talking about you could play that in the car with 215s, and I'm talking about that song go hard. Same thing with James Brown. Saying you listen to some of those Isley Brothers songs. Those were the real inspirations for hip hop. Where you think the loops were coming from? The loops were coming from the James Brown records, the Barry White records, the Isaac. Hell, Isaac Hayes used to have songs that, man, by the time I get to Phoenix, it's like 12 minutes long. Might be longer than that. The original version. Like I said before, nobody wasn't spinning no damn reggae records in the 70s or no salsa music. The fuck these dudes talking about, man? Just stop the fucking lies. I can make an argument. James Brown kind of like kept hip hop afloat in the early 80s to the late 80s, because a lot of people were sampling his records. You really didn't see the evolvement of hip hop to like the 90s. That's when it blew up. That was like the evolution. That's when you got the variety. That's when everything started to come. That's when everything started to mesh together and take its place. The 90s. But yeah, I will always say James Brown is one of our forefathers and getting hip hop to where it is. Like I said before, if hip hop was so inspired by Caribbean records, like I said, where's the influence? You know, where is it? Where is it? Where do you see or hear records from hip hop records from the 80s that's like inspired by reggae music? None. There, Showtime, there was no, that's not true. It's not true. Because the people like Shy Rock and Mario, they families oriented from the South and moved to New York. And people were trying to lie and say that King Mario was Puerto Rican. He wasn't. He was black. He was black. One thing about me, I'm 49 years old. I remember everything pertaining to hip hop music. You had people sample more non-black American music than they did reggae music or Caribbean music. So once again, how in the fuck did that play a role in in the evolution of hip hop? It's a lie. Like I said, if these dudes like Busta Rhymes and Pete Rock and some of these other dudes, KRS-One was so inspired and moved by Caribbean music, why didn't they make Caribbean inspired rap albums? Right? Say what you want to say. Cypress Hill made a whole album in Spanish before. See how it's easy to drop the mic? I mean, this is just too easy. This is just too easy. I say James Brown probably number one, but maybe maybe in a distant second you would say Ronald Isley or the Isley brothers, because I see a lot of Isley brothers samples, especially Between the Sheets. But James Brown, I don't think nobody was sampled more than James Brown, and James Brown was okay with it. And what I liked about James Brown, he gave hip hop his blessing. So for the most part, so I mean, you can make an argument. You can make an argument that's true, but that's the point I'm making. You can't sit up there and say that something inspired an art form and you don't even see like any glimpse of it whatsoever. That doesn't make any kind of sense. You can't sit up there and say some a form of genre. And then here's the thing: people back then wasn't really checking for those kind of records back then. Most people didn't even know what that music was. So how can you sit up there and say you was inspired by something or somebody created something based off a type of music they wasn't even familiar with? So that once again, that's a falsehood. Yeah, Pete Rock said something in he was trying to be kind of condescended about it. He was trying to be, he tried to say something slick about it, but I just had to blow Pete Rock's ass out the water though. Because I'm saying, if you so proud of your roots, well, you would be inspired to make music celebrating your roots, right? I mean, for real. What reggae inspired album Busta Rhymes made? What reggae inspired Caribbean inspired album Pete Rock made? So just stop the cap. It's embarrassing, man. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, these dudes go hear this video and they gonna be quiet. They ain't gonna say nothing because they can come on here. I will gladly expose Pete Rock. I will gladly expose KRS-One, and I will gladly expose Busta Rhymes. I wouldn't even have to have a debate with them. I just play Pete Rock's music from 1991 till what 19 whatever 1999. I'll just play Mecca and the Soul Brother, and I'll play the main ingredient. I would play the main ingredient anyway, because that man, them two Pete Rock and CL Smooth albums was hard. Both of them was good. Get on the mic. Oh, Snoop Lion. Yeah, well, that was like in 2011. So I mean, that's after. I mean, that's after the fact. Hey, Snoop Dogg. Hey, that's funny. Snoop Dogg made a reggae inspired album before Pete Rock did, or Busta Rhymes, or KRS-One. Yeah, he called himself Snoop Lion. But that was a while ago. But that I'm saying that's the point that I'm trying to make. He did it before they did. so I mean, so there you go. Another drop the mic moment. I told you I'm T Grizzly, man. I do this with no effort. This is easy. Man, you heard more rock and roll in hip hop before you did reggae. I mean, Walk This Way came from Aerosmith. So I mean, I'm just saying, you can't sit up there and be talking about hip hop came from here, came from there, but you never made no record celebrate your so-called roots, your so-called grassroots. So that don't make any sense. So, I mean, dude, stop it, man. You making a fool of yourself. But the point that I was trying to make before I end this video, we have to start correcting people and we have to protect our roots. You know, people can come up with these artificial facts all they want. Just like, Dr. Derek Cologne, dude about to have a mental breakdown. Like, dude is like in his 60s, I think, but like he just ended now. He been told by not only black people, but he been told by his own people, Puerto Ricans, that Foundation of Black Americans created hip hop, and he just still in denial. Yeah, I mean, he may need to go lay on that couch, but for real, we have to be gatekeepers. We can't, and we have to have, and we need to be standing by the gate with an AR-15 and two clips and two clips ready to go. Real talk. We just can't let everybody into we just can't let everybody into the gate. And as far as the barbecue go, we are taking the invites back and we are segregating the barbecues now. That's just real talk. We are uninviting people to the barbecue because it appears that when they come to the barbecue, they can't behave. So yeah, you're uninvited to the barbecue. You're not coming. So you're not coming. And no, and no, no, no. You're uninvited to the barbecue. And as far as gatekeeping go, we're standing by the gate with an AR-15, two full clips, and maybe one grenade. So good luck trying to get in. Anyway, you guys, appreciate you. It's Boy Town. I'm out.